Hey guys, this is Justin at the Survivor Review, and I haven't done a review in a while for some reason. I mean, I've seen movies that are worth reviewing and talking about, like Kingsman and Chappie, but I just never got around to doing reviews of them for some reason. But I'm going to start doing more reviews of movies I see. I'm going to start that off with the new Liam Neeson movie, Run All Night. A really surprisingly good movie that, judging by the trailer, you'd think it's just another run-of-the-mill Liam Neeson has to save his family action movie, but it's really not. It's a really good movie with an interesting story, good characters, and there's more to it than just Liam Neeson is a badass who kills a bunch of people and saves his family. So it's a really interesting, entertaining movie. I'm going to start off by giving a brief description of the plot, as best as I can, because as much as the plot is easy to follow while watching the movie, it's not the simplest plot to explain. Basically, Liam Neeson plays this hitman who's been doing this for many years, and his one and only friend, really, is this mob boss, played by Ed Harris. And one night, something just goes wrong. Neeson's son witnesses something he shouldn't have, which results in Liam Neeson having to kill Ed Harris' son. And now, Neeson and his son are on the run, and Ed Harris is going after them, and they're wanted by the police, and just everything, and he just has to patch everything up in one night. And that's the basic gist of the movie. The performances in this movie are all solid. Liam Neeson is great. This is the kind of action movies I want to see Liam Neeson do more often. Because in this movie, he actually has to act. He actually has to play a character, and this character actually has a lot going on, because it's really interesting that what the trailers don't show you at all is that he's really not a good guy at all. He's this hitman who's been doing this for all these years, has totally screwed up his life, has a terrible relationship with his son, and is slowly just drinking himself to death. It's like not what you'd expect at all. And speaking of drinking, the scenes in the beginning when he was drunk are hilarious. There's some great comedy in there. But anyway, his performance is really great in this movie. And it's not just Liam Neeson being cool like he is in the Taken movies where he's just this awesome CIA agent. No, he has depth to him, and it's like The Grey. The movie's not as good as The Grey, but it's similar to that, where his character actually has more to him than you'd expect, and I really like that. Ed Harris as the villain is just awesome. I mean, his character doesn't have a whole lot to him, but he's just really well acted, and you really buy their chemistry at the beginning of the movie, that they're old-time friends. You really buy that, and there's a great scene at the end of the movie where they're talking at a diner that's really tensionful and tensionful, I don't think it's a word, but you get the idea. And it's a really great scene. And I love it. The rest of the cast, Joel Kinnaman, I think that's his name, he plays Liam Neeson's son in the movie, and I only know him from the RoboCop remake. I know he's done other stuff, but that's all I've seen him in. And he was fine in that, and he's good in this. Nothing noteworthy, but he's good in that. And overall, just the cast just does their job really well. And what I like about the movie is the fact that the story is actually interesting in a way. I don't know, I like the dynamic of these guys who are friends and they're now going after each other. And you really buy into it, and at the end when there's a big confrontation between them, the big climax of the movie, you're really invested. You're how's this going to end? And you actually care for Neeson's character, even though he is this terrible guy and he's trying so hard to redeem himself, and just that stuff's really well done. The action scenes are all really good. For the most part, there's this car chase that kind of at the beginning that's but the action scenes are all really entertaining and really good, and they don't try to overdo Liam Neeson's badassness, though they do a few times, but they don't overdo it, which I like, and it just makes it more believable. But a few problems with the movie. Aside from, the beginning of the movie I thought the editing was really off in the beginning of the movie. I felt there was a lot of quick cuts just during dialogue scenes. I don't know, just they would be talking and cut to a half-second reaction shot of one guy, and then just cut back to this guy talking, then cut to a close-up of him picking something up, and it was, I don't know, it took me out of the movie for the first few scenes of the movie, and then it kind of went away for the rest of the movie. So it worked out alright, but it just felt really weird at the beginning of the movie. I don't know, it took me out of the movie, and it was just really weird quick cuttingness. I haven't heard any other reviews talk about this or bring it up, but it really distracted me for the first few scenes, and I was like, oh god, is this what the whole movie's gonna be? But nah, it wasn't. It was fine for the rest of the movie. That, and the beginning of the movie, it does this thing where it shows the ending of the movie, and then it flashes back 15 hours earlier. Action movies do that. John Wick did that. And I didn't like how it just, not only did it just spoil the ending outright there, but it made you just kind of like you're waiting for it. Because like it's a scene, all I'll say is it's a scene in a forest. And so you're waiting the whole movie for this to happen, and they try that kind of like false ending where everything's, and this is not a spoiler because you know it's coming. They try like the false ending where it's like everything's happy, but you know it's not because you know it leads to that scene they showed at the beginning. If that makes any sense. And there's no tension, and it was just kind of like you're just waiting, and you're like, okay, this is not over because they have to get to that point. Also, there's some strange transitions during the movie where like it goes from one setting and the camera like flies up, goes through the city to another one. And when I first did that, I was like, oh, okay, that's weird, but whatever, it's about it. And then they do it over and over in the movie every time there's a transition between locations, and I just felt it was unnecessary. It was just there just to do it because they thought it looked cool, and I just didn't think that was right. Some of the stuff with the son, like, I get it that the son, he doesn't like Liam Neeson at all, and it makes sense, and I buy it. But there's a lot of moments throughout the movie where, like, Liam Neeson keeps constantly saving his life, and his son never changes at all. Like, I'm not saying he has to, like, automatically love his dad for saving his life a few times, but he should be a bit more grateful than he is. Throughout the movie. I felt that it would have made more sense if he was a bit more grateful to his dad for saving him all those times than he was in the movie. Like, even by the end, he still was just like, no, I don't like you. Even after all the stuff they went through. And I was like, really? But overall, the movie, it's not a movie that you have to go out and see. I'm not saying, like, you have to go see Run All Night. But, like, if you want to go to the movies and see a good movie, see Kingsman. And then, if you can't see that, check out Run All Night, because it's a really entertaining flick that there's more to it than you expect. I'd say it's a good middle ground between, like, his Taken movies-esque movies. There's, like, action, just as him being awesome, and The Grey, which is a more dramatic kind of movie with more character development. It's a good middle ground. So out of 10, it's right between a 7.5 and an 8. Can't really decide, but I figure I'm just gonna round it up to an 8, just because this was a really solid movie and I did enjoy it. So speaking of Liam Neeson, the next review on this channel will be by me and Sam. Sam will be back, and it'll be for a Liam Neeson movie from the 90s that is not the most well-known movie, but a movie that we definitely love. All I'll say is...
Take it now! Take it! Take the fucking elephant!
Yeah, if you get that, you're awesome. So that'll be our next review, and until then, I'll talk to you guys later.